The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel welcomes you to this edition of the Mayor's and Supervisors Weekly Update, brought to you by...
Each week, our community makes history. Each week, you make history. And each week, there's only one source to turn to for the first take on history. You know what that is? Subscribe to the Sentinel right now to discover the history being made in your own backyard.
The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. More than just your news, it's your history.
Hey, welcome everyone to this week's edition of the Mayors and Supervisors Update. I'm Chris Carosa, publisher of the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel, and each week we bring you the goings-on in the towns and villages in our coverage area. This week we'll be starting with Mike Falk in the town of Lima. Mike, what's going on there?
Hey, Chris, thanks for hosting us again. We will start off talking about the solar eclipse. And so, there is going to be a partial solar eclipse October 14th and a total solar eclipse on April 8th. You need these glasses, or ones like them, to be able to observe both of them. Glasses were available at the Crossroads Festival. You can now get them at Milk and Honey here in Lima or at the Lima Town Clerk. They are just $2 a set. Again, do not look directly at the sun during the eclipses or the partial eclipse. You need the glasses. So get your eclipse glasses today. And you really cannot see through them. You cannot. Budget process is underway here at the town. Tentative budget will be presented to the town clerk by September 5th. Insurance, fuel, salt, and many other things are looking at some fairly large cost increases this year. So stay tuned for details on that. The Be Well in Lima initiative, which we've spoken about before, part of that is going to be this Evening of Hope that is going to be held on August 23rd at Elam Life Church from 6 to 9 p.m. This event is created to address stigmas that surround mental illness and addiction while celebrating the significance of hope. The keynote speaker of the evening is Eric C. Weaver. Eric had 20 years with the RPD and published his book, Overcoming the Darkness, shining a light on mental illness, trauma, and suicide for law enforcement, and is someone who has spoken to well over 35,000 law enforcement officers across the country on these subjects. Should be very interesting. There will also be some musical performances. Recording artist Amanda Lee Piers will be there singing, as will local singers Jericho Banker and Madison Fleming, and a host of inspirational guest speakers and things like that. So again, over at Elam Life Church, August 23rd, 6 to 9 p.m. for an Evening of Hope. And the last thing I'll talk about is the joining of the Great Divide. That's right, the sidewalk is just about to get completed over there in front of the Crossroads Church. Now, this is taken since 2018 to get all of this completed and finished, but the village has advanced their sidewalk up to the village line, and the town is finishing the last piece now. You can see the excavation is underway. So very soon, that entire sidewalk that goes all the way up to the corner of Gale Road will be complete. And that's all I've got, Chris.
All right, thanks, Mike. Well, Rick Milne couldn't be here today, but he left us something to read, and this is an update on the village of Honeoye Falls, as well as a little bit on the Monroe County Legislature. Starting off with the village of Honeoye Falls, Rick says that projects continue, and as every summer, the mowing around the village and brush pickup keep us very busy. The lining of parking spaces at Harry Allen Park is delayed, but will be completed as soon as possible. However, the remilling and repaving was completed, and it looks great. Kudos to both the village of Honeoye Falls and town of Mendon crews for a job well done. The village's new street sweeper has been received and is in use. The new equipment replaced the machine vehicle that was over 20 years old and simply could no longer be used. The street sweeper cost $321,000, Of the total cost, $300,000 is being provided through a CREST grant. That's Community Resiliency, Economic Sustainability, and Technology Program. We appreciate the support that Assemblywoman Lunsford's office and the New York State Assembly has provided to support the village of Honeoye Falls with this purchase. There is going to be a picture, by the way, in the paper on this report. So if you want to see what it looks like, it'll be in the paper next week. Coming soon is the Festival at the Falls, which will take place on August 19th, Saturday. This is sponsored and being run by Howard Hanna Realty, Honeoye Falls, and volunteers, along with support from the Village of Honeoye Falls. There are more than 75 vendors scheduled to be at the park. There will be food prepared and sold, served by the Union Star Lodge, number 320, Masons of Honeoye Falls. 2 bands and musicians will be playing during the midday hours, 8 days a week. A Beatles tribute band and singer-musician Justin Simolis will be making his Honeoye Falls debut as well. There will be plenty of activities for the kids as well. It should be a wonderful day in the village and at Harry Allen Park with fun for all. Thank you, Howard Hanna. In terms of Monroe County Legislature, the county legislature has been a very busy place, as always. This week, the focus, along with our normal business, has been the arrival of migrant asylum seekers to Monroe County. There has been a lot of media coverage of this, and there will continue to be so. There is a lot of discussion about the process, or possibly lack thereof, for bringing these people to the area and to our state. We all agree that the process needs to be improved, starting at the federal level, but most importantly, these families and individuals need to be treated with dignity and respect. The goal of those in the legislature, while there are many differing opinions, is that we want to aid those in need while also fully understanding we have many other Monroe County residents that need assistance and have needed assistance for a long time. This is a very difficult line to walk, and it is a huge challenge when the federal and state government do not have a set policy or a set of guidelines that are agreed upon and followed. And with that, the trickle-down effect takes place, and we are forced to pick up the pieces. This will continue to be a major focus for us moving forward. That's Rick Milne, and now over to John Moffett and the town of Mendon. John, how are we doing there?
Nice to see everybody as always. Couple of quick mentions. Number one is that the Spray Park located on Semmel Road has reopened. This has been quite a effort in towards reopening. I don't mean to make light of it, but it has been extremely frustrating for all of us regarding the town of Mendon. As I probably have mentioned earlier, but I will mention it one more time, is that the incorrect sealer was put on the concrete. There were multiple coats of different types of sealers that were not approved by the town. And according to the representative from the sealer company, there was some kind of a chemical reaction that occurred between these different types of sealers. It made it extremely hard to remove. They removed it. It took them 9 different tries. It took them an average of 4 to 5 days, an average of 3 to 4 people every time they removed it off that surface. So you can understand why we've waited. Now the correct sealer has been applied to the concrete. We had an independent company come out that was paid for by the town engineer to review the surface and deem it safe. While there is still no running, because it is a wet surface if it's operating, I went over there before we opened it. We turned it on. We let the surface get wet. I took my shoes and socks off and walked around on it, and it seemed to be fine. I'm also not 5 years old and 60 pounds or whatever a 5-year-old weighs, but I know it was, people were there last night. I haven't had any complaints, so my fingers are crossed, and I think we're heading in a good direction. It was originally scheduled to close on Labor Day. Because of this situation, I'm going to recommend to the board that we stay open later We very often get some very nice weather in September. So I would recommend to the board that we extend the time period. Also, as Mike said, in town of Mendon, we're working on our budget. The tentative budget is will be sent to the town board for our September 11th meeting. It's probably the most challenging budget that I've had during my tenure of 14 years with the town. As just like everyone else's household budget, everything has gone up. Everything from wages to materials to fuel, all the same things you face in your normal household budget. And I personally feel like we have a good or an excellent people working both at the highway department and at the town hall, and we want to be able to keep them because they are good people and they do a good job. Mendon Green, which you've heard me talk about many, many times, is a subdivision on the north side of Mendon off of Route 64, which parallels the town of Pittsford. They are in the process of finishing up all the site work. And I imagine probably by spring, we'll see some houses starting to pop up there. Also, our recycle event is scheduled for Saturday, October 14th. That will be over at the Highway Department Garage at 101 Summel Road. And that is shredding, electronics recycling. And I might add that the shredding is done on site. A lot of people ask this question, do I just drop off a box of my tax forms and I'm assuming it's going to get shredded properly? No, you can stand right there while they shred it. The recycling is, we have a whole list of things that are acceptable and not acceptable for recycling as far as electronics go. The pharmaceutical waste is, that's handled by the Monroe County Sheriff's Department. And then the free rabies clinic that's going on that very same day. It's from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. October 14th. So please mark it on your calendars, gather your items together. I know we're only in August, but time is going by fast because I know that because I'm getting older all the time. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, John. And we have Jerry popped in. Jerry, how we doing in Rush?
I didn't hear all of that,
Oh,
crisp part, which is the most important part. So I will respond to that. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
All right. I'll tack on the end of John's presentation about the 24 budget in Rush that's underway. So far, most departments have been very conservative in their forecasts, which pleases me immensely. We have recently started investing our reserve funds in New York class, and that has been very rewarding. I believe we'll still continue to do that. It is still early to determine whether or not we will see a tax increase, but it won't be long and we'll be able to get to that point where we can speculate on what that tax increase might be, if any. The Rush Riverside Refuge has been renamed. There are two parcels there. One is a 100-acre parcel, and that has been renamed to the 100 Acres Nature Park. That is a parcel that is between the river and the Avon, Livonia, and Lakeville Railroad tracks. And it is a parcel of land that is taken care of by the Rush Parks Association. They plant trees over there. They give bird presentations, bird nature walks, etc., etc. It's quite an interesting area for people to visit in the town of Rush. A dedication will be held on Saturday, September 30th at 1 p.m. They're going to have refreshments, walks to show the site, etc. The remaining 215 acres is now the town of Rush White Springs Farm. Many of us determined that town of Rush White Springs Farm is more vibrant and buoyant than the Rush Riverside Refuge. This 215 acre parcel no longer adjoins the river. In fact, it's a pretty good location away from the river. And we think that naming it the White Springs Farm, which goes back in history to a farm that was located on that site called the White Springs Farm, we thought it was the most appropriate thing to do. It's the same location as a horse's friend that we have on the property over there. Many upgrades have been made at that property, and they are always happy to have visitors at a horse's friend operation. You can go over there and just watch, or you could go over there and participate. Depends on what an individual would like to do. I also thought it was interesting in your suggestion, why do things slow down for the summer? And we have things slow down for the summer for various reasons. Our rec programs actually ramp up for the summer because of summer vacation for kids. And so that creates a competition for what you might get done when the kids aren't around. Also, vacations and holidays are reasons. Most people take their vacations in the summertime, adjoining with a holiday, a scheduled holiday. Summer is the things for doing things that is weather dependent, like repairing roads, repairing equipment, etc., etc. But basically, competing projects. In the summer, we mow grass. We mow a lot of grass in town, and that has to compete for equipment repair, road maintenance, building maintenance, other things. So there are many reasons why it seems that things slow down, but they don't slow down. They're just transferred to another need. So I will stop there and say it's good to see you folks again.
Good to see you too, Jerry. Mike, you got anything? Or John? I know you're on like John, but seeing none, thank you guys for being here, and thank you all for listening. Remember, we broadcast this every Sunday at 1 o'clock. Like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you will be notified when this starts airing, as soon as it starts airing. So that's it for this week. We'll see you all next week. Bye-bye for now.
Imagine yourself communicating with a difference. Pan-Dimensional Solutions helps you do this. Whether live spectator events, taped broadcasts, or real-time audience-engaging programs, you can benefit immediately from the tools Pan-Dimensional Solutions will share with you. Do you want to make a difference? Contact us at pandimensional.com.